It is amazing to me how quickly opinions can change, like the blowing of the wind. A lot of us were jumping off a bridge, including myself, not more than 3 weeks ago. Some of us were much more level-headed. Some of those folks are on this show tonight. We will dive into that and so much more. We've got a loaded show for you tonight. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Good to have you all along with us for another episode as we count down here to the end of the Same Old Arsenal USA as we begin the rebrand. But we are still the Same Old Arsenal USA for now. I am your host, the Bearded Gooner. Next to me is Glenn. Below him is Stan. Below me is Ryan. Let's go around the horn, check in on everyone's holiday and see how everyone is doing. Glenn, you are first up. How was your holiday, sir?
My holiday was pretty good. Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn from Glenn AFC New York. I have a YouTube channel, a new video up. Hope you check it out. I survived the holidays. Let's just put it that way. Married with children, spend most of my time in the man cave, which is downstairs. Some of my friends refer to it as my coffin, but I'm doing well.
Good. Glad to hear it. Stan? Same question to you, my friend.
Hello, I'm Stan the Man. I don't have a YouTube channel, and I never uploaded a video. And if I did, I wouldn't tell any of you about it because I'm like that. So I just want to copy Glenn. I had a good Christmas. The missus was happy. As far as I'm concerned, that's mission accomplished.
And Ryan, jumping in a little late. I didn't get to talk to you off camera before we started this, so
don't worry. I already know.
How was? You already know what?
Nothing.
I don't know.
Hi, I'm Ryan from Connecticut, formerly Long Island, and I too do not have a YouTube channel, but I am the idiot I wouldn't say idiot because Glenn's videos are amazing and everyone should check them out, but I'm the guy that's always retweeting Glenn's videos because they're awesome and I think they need to be spread to every Arsenal fan out there because they're awesome. Anyways, what's up? Yeah, Christmas was great. My parents came up from Long Island, got me this awesome Penguin shirt. It's dope. My sister got this for me. It was awesome. Got me a bunch of cool Arsenal merch. But yeah, holidays were good. My beer of the week is, we just keep winning and we keep battering teams, and this is crazy. It's awesome. And I'm not going to jump off any bridges, but my beer of the week is Champion of the Sun by Labyrinth Brewing, because we look unstoppable right now. Yes, I get it. I know the level we're playing. I know the competition we're playing, but we weren't even doing this a few months ago. We were like nicking 1-0s, and I was like somewhat okay with it. I shouldn't say I was okay with it, but I was like, okay, 3 points. They're showing us something. We're beating teams 5-0. We're beating teams 5-1. So we're the champions of the sun. So cheers to you guys.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tanner, the Bearded Gooner.
You guys are just a bunch of dicks, all right? I have a YouTube channel. I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't ask them to follow me on Twitter. It's just if they do, that's awesome. And so I have to mention it once in a while.
I didn't even get to finish my intro.
I just love the fact, Glenn, that you talked, you introduce yourself to everybody as if nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, I'm Glenn. I'm new here. I'm from New York. No one's ever heard of you before. I think it's just absolutely hilarious. My friend Greg, who watches the show every week, is like, why is Glenn introducing himself? He knows people know who he is, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I just love it.
I'm actually kind of curious. Do you think he does this at his Weed Head Anonymous meetings?
Yeah, I'd have to quit first, so you know.
Well, true.
I don't know. Maybe in Glenn's head, in his mind, this is his first time here. Who knows?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, given the conversations that he and the conversations that he tried to have with me earlier today, I'm not sure he knows who he is. So the fact that he got his name right we're good.
Oh,
We're good.
Go on,
So,
go on. Go.
Anyway, so we're going to do a new segment here, and I kind of like it. And this was Glenn's idea. He brought it to us. And we're going to start right off the bat with what did we learn this past week and this past weekend. And I think it's interesting, and hopefully we all have some different ideas. But let's keep it concise, gentlemen. Let's not go off on tangents here. But Glenn, since it was your idea, I'm going to hand the floor over to you. What did you learn this weekend?
Okay, first of all, it wasn't my idea. It's on an NFL show. I just said that would be cool if we did it, and you agreed.
This is what I get for trying to give him credit.
Because you made it sound like it was my idea. I'm plagiarizing the NFL's idea. So
they don't care. We're small potatoes. They don't care.
In case anybody knows, that's Glenn from New York. He has a YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And
it's not his idea. It's the NFL.
It's not his idea.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be triple teamed, at least let it be women. Oh my God. Come on, guys.
Well, Ryan's pretty close. I mean, his balls are in Megan's purse. So
all right. So the thing I learned yesterday, I'll be brief. I learned today, it's that if you are an Arsenal player and you put together 3 or 4 good games in a row against weak competition, it doesn't matter what you did in the past. A huge majority of AFC supporters on social media will all of a sudden change their mind about you. Granit Xhaka. I don't care. There is no way that, him having a good run of games is going to make me believe that he is the midfielder we need going forward to beat Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester City. That's what I learned. No, you can, as long as you play a few good games in a row.
Wait, you learned he's not good enough?
He's not. Did I not make myself clear?
I'm making sure. I make sure.
On the Arsenal team that can compete with the top 3, Xhaka is a squad player at best.
Okay. I just thought you already knew that. That's why.
But the amount of people who are smarter than me are praising him. Well, it's not hard to be smarter than me, but you get the idea.
Put the words right out of my mouth.
Are we good to move on?
Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, Ryan, you jumped in, so
no,
right.
I mean,
no,
the only thing I would say to Glenn was I feel like we already knew that, and the Xhaka's, his things, he does do things well. I know I'm his biggest, I guess you could say critic. I don't know. He can be very secure at the ball. He does have a decently good range of passing. But for us to move forward, like Glenn said, for us to be a contending team, he's the most unathletic player that we have. He is too slow, and people smarter than me and Glenn have even alluded to that. He's too slow at the ball. And when we have these young players, these quick players, people was it Jamie Carragher or Gary Neville? I confused the two, so I don't even know. But one of them said ESR is the fastest player with the ball at his feet. And when things are moving forward, give him the ball, he'll make things happen. And I just think Xhaka is the position that he plays, that person needs to get the ball, turn, make a move, go, 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 go. He doesn't do that. He's too slow. And I didn't even bring up his boneheadedness when not having the ball, when trying to defend and trying to be athletic. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
Is that what you learned?
No, I was just.
Or is that just a rebuttal to Glenn?
No, that was just me, talking to Glenn.
Okay,
yeah.
So what did you learn?
What did I learn? I learned they were the best fucking team. No, I learned that I was a little unsure. When ESR scored that goal against I don't even remember who, and then there was the still of Odegaard. Had that mean look on his face. And you sit on the bench because ESR came on for no. You don't even know what I'm going to say. And I was like, I would love to see them both come on because I think Odegaard could bring a lot to the team. And I think, again, I just love Lacazette in this lineup. I think Lacazette unlocks a lot in this team. But I was like, I really want to see Odegaard and ESR play together. And I think they're two very good players. They're creative. They can score goals for us, as we have seen. So I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. And then all of a sudden, Odegaard started playing very well, I might add. And he's always on the bench, and I'm like, I don't, he's my boy, he's my favorite player on the team. We gotta get him on. But learning. I mean, we kind of learned this a few games ago, but I kind of cemented myself that it doesn't really matter to me, not necessarily who plays, but Odegaard can come off the bench and do well. I think ESR could come off the bench and do a good job, and I think having that, as in the NBA in America, they have the sixth man, the pivotal player that comes on and can change the game. Having that in your arsenal is I think a really good tool, and I think having that, I think, is something we haven't had for a while, and hopefully we could use that to our advantage. Problem is, I think we're in a situation now where when we play the Man Cities, Chelsea's, Liverpool, I don't know if we'll have that caveat. I think we're going to have to play both Odegaard and ESR, or you might not even play Odegaard just because of the style he plays, and we don't really expect to have that space and have that possession that we've done so well with in these last few games.
So you learned that you don't have a problem whether Odegaard or ESS.
I don't have a problem with one of them starting on the bench. I don't like ESR, my favorite player. I don't have a problem with him coming off the bench.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's a point I'd like to circle. So 2 good points here that I would like to circle back to later. But Stan, you are up. What did you learn over the weekend?
I learned that I'm not very good at wrapping Christmas presents. I'm terrible at it.
Right?
So
right?
Paper.
I suck at it.
Paper everywhere, man. Do you know what I mean? And then I had this one box, right? And I wrapped the paper around, and I thought I'd measured it right, but I couldn't get the 2 ends to meet. So there was a gap in the middle. So I had to cut another piece. But regarding Arsenal, I think what I've actually learned is that patience is a very rare commodity in football. And you can look at that, whether it's what your expectations are when you change manager, but also sometimes what your expectations are on a player, where maybe a player's only been with you for 5 minutes, and you see some people on social media before a ball is even kicked before a match will tweet out and say, for example, that Martin Odegaard is probably the worst midfielder to ever wear an Arsenal shirt. So for me, I think that football is a very, very rare commodity. Sometimes you have to give things a little bit of time before we jump to conclusions, we make accusations, we think we know the full picture. Because I'm just using Martin Odegaard as the example. At the moment, I think you'd have to agree that he's probably our best player at the moment, if not one of them.
He could be player of the month in the Premier League. That's how good he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, he's pulling all of the strings, and I think it's a great situation to have 2 players for in and around the same role, and they do play the game very differently as well. It's not like they're carbon copies, and in some games we'll probably want ESR in the middle in that position, who's able to get more yardage of the ball at his feet, rather than someone like Odegaard, who's very good at pinging the ball around. And then as he lays the ball off, he knows how to get himself into another piece of space, another pocket, to make himself available again for the next ball, or maybe to have a shot on goal. So I think it's a great situation to be in. But yeah, I think that's what I learned the most, is that patience is a very rare commodity in football. And what I mean by that is that, in a couple of games' time, one of these players might have a bit of a stinker. It happens. The team might have an off day, and we might not get the points against a team where we should pick up the points. But before you shout blue murder and ask for the head of players or the manager, you have to cast your mind back to what's been happening over the last little bit. And that should give you the confidence and the courage to get through to the next game and just be a little bit disappointed about the result, but not burst a blood vessel over it, because it's not worth it.
Yeah, they're all very good points. I don't know if anybody cares what I learned or not, but I'm going to tell you.
Of course
anyway.
we do.
I don't know. You guys really did kind of steal my thunder, especially you, Glenn, because my.
Yeah, he's like,
I'll tell you what.
We ain't doing this segment again. Fuck that.
Yeah, right. No, the thing. What I learned this weekend is it really is it really is week to week, and you do have to look at the bigger picture. You've almost got to use one eye for the bigger picture and one eye for the here and now. And the Manchester United and Everton matches where the performances were just awful, despite the goals that we scored at United. The performances were pretty bad. And I think what I learned is that we're going to have growing pains if we're to persist with what we're doing. But now that we've maybe sort of turned a corner, and again, I don't want to shoot off fireworks and fairy dust and have unicorns prancing around and I look like Will Ferrell and what's her name from Anchorman. I love you. I freaking love you too. Christina Applegate. Thank you. They're going to be growing pains. We're going to persist with this, but we're turning that corner now. And consider the competition. It is lesser competition, but we're now battering that competition. We're doing, in the title of the show, doing what we should be doing. And you've heard it on this show before from all of us, and I know I've said it, that beating Norwich at home 1-0 early in the year, to me, was unacceptable. We should have done to them then what we just did to them on Sunday. But this group of players, especially the young players, they're starting to come around. And I learned a lot over the weekend, quite frankly. But I think what the biggest thing is not to jump off a bridge, like Stan just said over this, because I did. I was the performances. I was Arteta out, and said, nope. I don't see the creation. I don't see the creativity. I don't see the goals being scored, and this is constant. And it's been like this now for 2 years, all but, which is going to be a nice little segue into Arteta's 2-year report card. But
well, good, because this was starting to sound like an after-school special with Stan and then you talking about patience, and I learned.
Well, it's not about patience for me because I am not a patient man. But
we know that.
Yeah, this is we're getting there, fellas. That's I guess that's the best way I can put it. We're getting there, and so yeah.
And I also know nobody wants to hear this, and I just wanted to quickly bring this up. And I'm not saying this is the reason we battered Norwich. I don't think there's one particular reason, but just an example. And I said this when we played Norwich the first time. They had a very good game. They played very well. Brandon Williams had a man of the match performance. He's all known for Man U. He showed, maybe some teams should be looking at him. He was shut down as the fullback when we played in the first round. This time, he was probably one of their worst players, if not the worst player. Saka was just ate him for lunch. So you have little things like that when you have, a team like Norwich playing the way. Let's be real here. They're a team that's going to go down. They're not a good team. This is their level. This is what they're going to play like. I do think they played out of their skin when we beat them 1-0 last time around, but it's good to see that we're not afraid. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about, patience and stuff, because these kids are young. And having that patience is good because we're going to get there. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to want to attack. We're going to want to go for it. It's just going to take time. These kids are very young for obviously for the most part. And once the wheels start turning, I think, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. So again, to sort of segue off of what I said, Mikel Arteta has been in charge now for 2 years. And Stan, I'm going to start with you. Give me a grade on his report card and leave some quote unquote teacher comments as they were wont to do. At least my teachers were anyway. Would always leave comments about shit. But anyway, yeah, Stan, go ahead.
Well, by now everybody knows that I kind of use like a scale percentage system when it comes to measuring Arteta. And at the very beginning when he came in, I was 50-50. Wasn't my first choice. Wasn't somebody that I didn't want near the club. I was kind of on the fence about it. Had other people that I would have preferred to have come in. And during the 2 years, I was up to about at one point 95% that I wanted him gone, because there were periods. I mean, the things that he did in the semi-final. Some of the decisions that were made about some players that have came in on what kind of contracts that they've had. Some of the decisions that he's made along the way have been rough and have been difficult to stomach. Some of the substitutions, his in-game management, it hasn't been a smooth ride. But he's managed to claw back at that deficit. And I'm kind of around about, I would say, about 70% that I want him to remain now. I'm happy with where we're going. I really enjoy watching Arsenal play again. I'm at this stage now where I'm wanting to get up and watch the games live again, rather than just like sleeping in and watching it on my own time at a decent hour. So that's a good sign. We're just a couple of pieces away, I think. A couple of pieces away to have a team that can get us to where we want to be. So I think at the moment, if I was going to give him an actual report card, I'd probably give him, for where we are now, a C+.
Okay. Glenn.
B-. Arteta's done something that has never happened to me before. I've loved sports for as long as I can remember, and I've loved football for as long as I can remember, because my dad was from South America and my mom was from Germany. Arteta did something to me that it's never happened before in all my years of being a supporter of teams.
Stan, we're about to hear about Glenn's first time.
That's just what I'm going on. I'm getting interested.
Yeah,
I'm back. I'm listening.
I made that sound like so much better than it is. I don't have any Uncle Bad Touch story coming up here. What I have is
Glenn. It's not naked wrestling.
And not everybody else doing it.
I am very loyal to teams I support, and it takes a lot for me to turn on a manager. And I turned on Arteta, and I was absolutely convinced he was the wrong man for the job. And it took the summer transfer window to wake me up out of the doldrums and say, wow. I think Arteta has done a wonderful job. He has made mistakes, but it's just an opinion. Torreira, Guendouzi, I rate both of those guys. I don't think we'll ever see them in an Arsenal jersey again, which befuddles me with his love of Xhaka. But putting all that aside, B-. I'm happy with him, but that only goes until the table at the end of the year. I want at least the Europa League. He has a team good enough for the Europa League at least.
Yeah. Ryan.
I know no one's gonna like my answer.
No, you're not pulling that shit. You're gonna give a grade.
No, my grade for him is incomplete because when we hired him, we set out for a task. We set out for a job. We want to get a Champions League. We want to get back into the top 4. We haven't done that yet. Not to say we are, not to say we're not, but for me to give him a grade on a task that isn't complete yet doesn't really make much sense to me. Yeah,
you're not going to give him a grade until he leaves the club, because until
his
task will be incomplete until he leaves.
I guess I would give him a grade at the end of the season when we either get in top 4 or get in top 6. Because the season's not over yet. Season's literally for us. We're at the halfway point. We had 38 games. We played 19 of them. We played 50% of our games. But so I can't give him a grade because he was hired for a job to do, and the job was to. I mean, obviously the job is Arsenal Football Club. I get that, but we have our eyes set on Champions League, and that's like the goal. And I always talk about how Arteta's the project, and he is, but with that project, you have to have markers, you have to have goals, and I think the biggest goal that we have is Champions League, is to get into top 4, and I can't give him a grade on that because I guess he didn't do it, so maybe I give him a low grade. But I'm probably going to give you. I will give you a grade at the end of the season, but I can't now. It's incomplete. I do like what he's doing with the squad. I like how he's getting the tune out of a lot of the players. And the one thing I think something that I learned, another thing I guess I'll piggyback that I learned, was that you kind of have to mix a little bit of senior players in with the youth. Because it's funny, I think it was actually our game against Norwich. The commentators were talking about how, which I knew this, but when they brought that up, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Was Brentford, before they got promoted, they were in the championship for like forever. And they were like 8th place, 9th place, 10th place. Because all they did was they just loaded it up with youth and just we're not going to play any senior players. We're going to play all young guys through the academy. We're going to buy young. We're going to hope they get really good and be good. And they just kept finishing 8th. They had a really good squad on paper. They did really well in certain games, but they were just too inconsistent. They were too young. They didn't really have the grind yet. They didn't really understand, the grind of the championship, which I'm sure is another animal in its entirety. But once they started adding Janssen and one of their other center backs, they added a little bit of seniority. Boom! That year they came up into the Premier League. So I think for us, they're obviously on a smaller scale. So I kind of understand why we're playing Xhaka while he's plugging away with Xhaka. He is in fact a leader. He is in fact doing something on the pitch for the team. Is it have anything to do with football? I don't think so, but some people think that, and that's fine. But I do think that there's a reason why some of these senior players just can't seem to get out of the squad, even when they don't have the best of games.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Glenn. I'm going to go. I guess I'm agreeing with Glenn and Stan. B minus, C plus. When you look at the whole picture of what he's done for 2 years and everything that he's had to deal with as a manager, in terms of first year manager, first time managing, being the guy in charge, and you have a global pandemic, shut everything down and interrupt the entire season and just everything that
I mean, that's
goes
also
with
another
that.
reason why I'm giving it like COVID. COVID's a thing. It hurt him as a manager.
Well,
It halted a lot of what he wanted to do with this team, and that's why I think we had 2 back-to-back 8th places. I do blame him a little bit, but there's a lot more that that was going on behind the scenes, like COVID.
It's when you look at it, there are the Villarreal match is the one that tie will leap off the page at anybody, and you say, how did you lose that? How could you not go through there?
That's where he lost.
That's a big.
Yeah.
That is a big knock or demerit, if you will, on what he's done so far. But in the league, I think if we were to look over the last 2 years, I think we've accumulated either the second or third most points since he's been in charge, since he took over Boxing Day of 2019. You can't argue that. That's a fact. That's there to be seen. It's we're in the top 4. I know that. It's second, third. It might be fourth, but I'm pretty sure it's second or third in total points accumulated. And when you think about and everything that I've said, and I'm almost having like a come to Jesus moment with Mikel Arteta and all of this is all of the performances and everything that I've railed on about his system. It doesn't produce goals. It's not conducive to winning. They're scared. That's down to him. He's scared. But second or third, at worst case scenario, 4th most points in the last 24 months. That you can't argue that. So despite everything, despite COVID, despite the poor performances and the bitching and belly aching and everything else that I've done, if these are 2 seasons, we're top 4 side, and he's worked a bloody fucking miracle. I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, can I add, he has made watching Arsenal fun and exciting again. And I'm not dreading the Manchester City game. I'm really looking forward to it, to see how far we've improved. I actually think maybe we could get a draw. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. We'll save the preview here for a little bit. No, you're good.
To show you how he's made me optimistic after years of being dismal.
It's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you.
But without hope, what is there?
Yeah, I'm being. It looks like I'm being corrected in the comments. It's second most since last year. I don't have the point totals in front of me. I could have sworn he's still in the top. I'm fairly certain that we're still in the top 4 in terms of points gained, points accumulated. in his career. So I don't have the numbers in front of me. Maybe it is last year, but I could have sworn I heard 2 years. But it's a B- or a C+. I think they're both pretty much the same thing. I'm going to go B- because the B is higher than the C. But it's a B- for me because I think when you do look at everything that he's had to deal with, it could be nothing short of a miracle. But an 8th place finish. But it sucks. It's not what we want, but it's coming around. It's coming around. So, I don't have a good segue into the next topic of conversation here, but I guess one of the things that we, maybe we could grade Arteta on just in an isolated incident here is stripping Aubameyang of the captaincy. And ever since this happened, we're off and running here. He's been away from the side now for, I believe, the last 5 matches. And we've scored 19 goals in those 5 matches. One of which is, against a League One side in Sunderland. So, but even if we take the last 4 league matches, 14 in the last 4 league matches, that's 2.5 goals a game, or excuse me, 3.5 goals a game. That's a pretty good number. I don't know what you would need to average. I don't know, when you look at City, Liverpool, how many goals did City score in the year that they won the league, here a few years ago? I don't know. I don't have the number in front of me. But I would say that scoring 3.5 goals a game is pretty good. I'll take a 3.5 goal per game average, especially with this defense that we have. And that includes Aaron Ramsdale, as Ryan.
They scored 50.
They scored 50.
Yeah, last season they won the league. They scored 50.
When they won the league, they only scored 50 goals.
Yep,
that's not 2 goals a game.
Oh fuck! Hold on,
that can't be right.
No, that's what they have this season. I fucked up.
But anyway,
83.
Okay.
Apologies.
So, to do quick math, I don't. What do you say? 80. What did you say? 80.
83.
83.
So that's less.
So they're under 2.25 goals a game. So that's and they battered the league that year. I mean, they were undefeated until like mid-March, I want to say, maybe mid-February, something like that. So 3.5 goals a game is a pretty good average. So I'm going to start with Stan on this. Is Aubameyang's absence helping in any way, shape, or form? I mean, the numbers are there to show, what we're doing scoring wise. The numbers are there to support it. Take it any further than that. There's nothing there. It's just coincidence. What's your take on? And was Arteta right to do what he did? So just talk about the whole situation if you can.
Well, I mean, I only have an opinion on this because I only know as much as what everybody else knows, what we've heard in the media, what the manager said. But we've all. You ever been in the workplace and you've had that one person in that's kind of always seems to bring it down. You don't dislike them or anything. They're part of the team, but they just seem to bring it down. And it isn't until maybe they go away on holiday or they leave or whatever, and they're not around, that you start to actually see that the environment that you're working in is actually not as bad as that person makes out. And maybe it was a case of something like that was going on, and as he is the sort of the focal point, if he's walking and around with a face like a slapped ass and looking all down in the dumps, it might rub off on everybody, and everybody seems to have maybe the same kind of demeanor, even though there's nothing literally wrong with the individual. And it seems like that funk, that cloud, seems to have been lifted. The players aren't mourning over the loss of their captain. They're getting out there and they're enjoying themselves. They're not just going through the motions. They look like they're doing what they want to do. They want to do it for the team. They want to do it for each other. They want to do it for us. And they seem that they are enjoying what they're doing. Was he right to strip him of the captaincy? I think what happened was that obviously he reported back late, and then when the club spoke to him about that, I believe that he didn't respond in a manner that they were hoping for him to respond in. He wasn't holding his hands up saying, "Yeah, I know I fucked up. I'm gonna, I'll make it up." Blah blah blah. I don't think he responded correctly, because it was in the following day that we then heard that the captaincy had been stripped. So I think that the stripping of the captaincy was in a response to how his attitude was once he got back. Do I think that it was the right thing to do? Yeah. I don't think he's captain material anyway, but this sounds to me like he is someone that is a serial offender, and that there are things that have probably gone on that we're not even been made aware of. That it's not just a case of he was late, fuck it, strip the captaincy. This is a repeat offender. So did I think that he was right to do it? Yeah. Are we suffering because of it? No. Happy days.
Yeah. Ryan.
Yeah, so I want to say it's probably two players that are the reason why we're doing so well in Aubameyang's absence. Mainly one. Real quick, shout out to Martinelli. He's just the Energizer Bunny. I think he's just something new. He's fresh. Teams can't really prepare for him. He just runs around with his head cut off, but like in a good way. And he's starting to really get the structure, get the tactics that Arteta really wants to set out. And he's a good player. But the more important piece to me is I don't think we're better because Aubameyang's not there. I think we're better because Lacazette is here. Lacazette's a better player for what we want to do. And I know I've been banging this drum for quite a while. Yeah, he's just unlocking so much in this team. He's unlocking Saka, ESR, Odegaard, Martinelli. He's really giving these players the ability to shine. Whereas I think Aubameyang is the type of player that's going to not like take the shine away for his own, but I think just Lacazette is just more of a guy that's like going to put his foot in. He's going to do a job, and he's going to make sure his players around him are going to be better. And Lacazette's a better captain. Lacazette, again, like I said, he's going to put his foot in. He's going to throw his body around, give all he can for as long as he can, and really show the team what it means to be a player for Arsenal. He's an emotional player in a good way so far. He really gets the guys going. He's a good hype man. I'll give him that. He's a very good hype man. But yeah, I think to me, it's more chalked up to Lacazette being, just a better fit for what we want to do. And Lacazette is just playing very good. And including all the youngsters in is just something that he's just been accustomed to, because if you go through interviews, they ask the young players, who's the guy that bed you in? Who's the guy that talks to you? Everyone says Lacazette. So there's a reason.
Before Glenn answers, can I just come on the back of what Ryan said, please?
Sure.
I don't think it's that Lacazette is a better player, or maybe even that he's a better fit. I just think he has a better attitude. Because for me, Lacazette is a number 9 and does a lot of his damage in and around the box. And he's changed his game for the team. And as we can all see, that he is playing a lot deeper. I don't think that that's his natural game. I think that maybe he's received instruction and training, and he's decided to take that on board and implement what the manager and what the team requires. And I don't think that maybe Aubameyang is as prepared to do that, and has maybe the wrong kind of attitude when he's having to play in a way that he feels isn't best suited to what he's got to offer. Whereas Lacazette seems to be just getting his head down and being done what's being asked of him without any aggro. So I think it's down to the attitude, and that sometimes the better attitude can outweigh the better skill set and talent.
And I agree with that, and I will piggyback off that and say, people say like, "Oh, the players are scared on the pitch." That's because Arteta's scared, and everyone says your players play the way that is reflected of your manager. I think the players play what's reflected of your captain, and Aubameyang is he's just not a captain. He runs. I don't want to say runs. He hides kind of in games sometimes, and he's just not that guy that's gonna be the forefront. He's not, to me, again, I think I said this last week, he's not a guy that's going to front man a band, or he will just for the glitz and the glamour. He's not going to do it for the hard work. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do all the press conferences. He's not going to do the interviews. He's not going to, that's just not him. He's going to do it because he wants his face on the album cover. I think Lacazette is in a lot of ways he's the beating heart of this team, and I think his attitude, his mentality. I think it's more his mentality is what's very good. And I keep going back to the Crystal Palace game where he came on, he got a corner kick. Like a corner kick. He won a corner kick for us, which, good, I guess, but nothing. He didn't score a goal. He wants a corner kick, and he's going to the crowd. He's trying to pump them up, get him going. And then he scores a goal later down the road, and he's going nuts, and the crowd's going nuts. And I think that's another reason why, people were kind of happy, because I know a lot of fans were not happy that we drew at Palace. That's why a lot of fans were happy. Seeing that passion, seeing that attitude, seeing that mentality, which is something that our captain hasn't shown since what you want to say, BFG. I mean, so it's good to see that, and we want to build a mentality, we want to build a culture, and I think Lacazette is someone that we could definitely build off of. And I don't know if that's going to happen, because I don't think with all the rumors of his contract and all that good stuff, I just don't think he's going to be here after the summer. Segue. Oh, great segue, Ryan. But guess what? I'm muted, so I'm just talk into the mic, and no one's gonna hear me.
Are you done? I was curious to how long you'd actually go. I'm over here clearing my throat. I hit the mute button because I didn't want to keep clearing my throat over you. But no, we'll go to Glenn on Aubameyang, and where do you come down on how Arteta's handled the situation, and is there, can we glean anything from the recent performances that we've had and link them to his absence or his time away?
Hi, I'm Glenn from AFC New York.
Yes, I talked so much that everybody forgot who you were, Glenn. That's a very good point.
Okay, I'll take this in points, and I'll try to be brief. Point number one. It's obvious, I think, to almost every Arsenal supporter that Lacazette is he has earned the starting job, and he's been pretty good as captain so far. Number two, I am not ready to throw Aubameyang out the door yet. We don't know what he did. I suspect he used his enormous social media following to get his word out of why he was late, and that pissed off Arteta. I don't know if that's what happened. All I know is the manager's pissed at him, and hey, that's between them. I have to trust Arteta that, the punishment is worth the crime. Aubameyang, if we all remember, those of you who just want to get rid of him now, the man single-handedly got hot and kept Unai Emery in the job as Arsenal manager. The talent is there. Maybe the system's wrong for him. Maybe sometimes he has a bad attitude. But if Lacazette goes down and we just toss Aubameyang out, you want Nketiah in there? I know some of you are going to say yes to that, but I bet most of you will say no. Did I answer your question?
I think so. But Glenn, why can't there be another option? Why does it have to be Aubameyang or Eddie? It could be neither.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
You're saying that people don't want. You're saying you're not willing to throw Aubameyang out because if it's not,
because I still rate him.
No, I know. But what you said was, excuse me, the burp beer was good. You said you don't like, if we don't have Laka, you don't want to throw Aubameyang out because then our answer has to be Eddie. There's nobody else. Why can't it? And our answer, and I'm not saying this is what I want, but why can't our answer be what? Hold on. Why can't our answer be Pepe? Why can't our answer be maybe even Saka? And under the right tactics, I don't think we had the right tactics. Our answer could maybe be ESR, playing a false nine. I don't think I really want ESR playing a false nine.
Well, I don't know.
I'm saying we have, I've coined the phrase opinion of death. I think with tactics, with how we're playing now, it's an option. Do I want it? Do I want it right now? No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
I want Lacazette to stay.
Last time I said that whatever happened to Martinelli training as a striker, you all jumped down my throat and said they tried it and it didn't work for 2 games. So I don't bring that up anymore. As far as I know, Nketiah is the choice if Lacazette gets hurt and Aubameyang is thrown out the window in January.
I get that, but I guess my point is Eddie's not going to be here next season. So if we don't bring anybody in, I don't think Aubameyang is going to just magically reappear back in the team. I think I think Arteta is going to have to make some very tactical changes and figure things out, because I don't think Eddie's going to be our starting striker next year, and I don't really think Lacazette or Aubameyang are going to be our starting striker next season. So something has to give. I don't really know what that's going to be, but I guess only time will tell.
It could be instead of a 1-year contract extension.
Beautiful segue, Ryan. I know. Thank
you for Lacazette. Well done. But instead of a 1-year offer, make it 2, and just if you can get rid of Aubameyang, and we'll get into this in a minute. If you could get rid of Aubameyang somehow, just let Lacazette give him the 2-year deal, let him run his contract down, and off he goes as a free agent. I mean, one of these two is going to leave as a free agent, and I think that's a sad reality that a lot of Arsenal fans don't want to come to grips with, is that there are just some players who, look, it's worth it to keep them around for the extra year and let them leave for free. Then it just makes sense. And when Aubameyang signed his extension, I thought it was going to be him. There's no way we're going to be able to move on from Aubameyang and get him out the door for any amount of money. But now I'm starting to think that it's probably going to be Lacazette. If we do this right, I think the 2-year deal works. The question will be, is 2 years enough? And how old is he? 32, 33? I mean, to me, where's he going to go to get what he's looking for? I guess my question is he going to get 2 years and at least 2 years, and a massive bump in pay to go with it? I just don't see that for a 33-year-old striker.
Lacazette is 30.
He's only. I thought Aubameyang was 34, and Lacazette.
It's not 34. I think he's
30.
30. Aubameyang's 32. I think Aubameyang's 32.
Okay.
Double check.
I mean, that's fine.
Aubameyang is 32.
He's what?
He's 32. Aubameyang.
He's 32. Okay. I don't know why I thought 34.
34 is old, man. That's crazy.
That's what I mean. Maybe, you know what? No, you know what it is? I'm thinking how old he'll be when his contract is up. Because I think he'll be 30. He'll be almost 34 anyway, regardless. Lacazette. Okay, he's 30 years old. Is it outside the realm? Now, if he wants let's say he wants a 3-year deal. That 3-year deal pretty much takes him to the end of his career. He's not going to go anywhere else and get a huge payday. Nobody's going to come looking for a 33-year-old striker, 34-year-old striker at the end of it by the time it's done. So where should Arsenal be at with this? And Glenn, I'll start with you. Outline for me, are you trying to extend Lacazette beyond 1 year? And if so, what would you be offering?
Okay, I have exchanges with Stan and DMs on this, so I'll be brief because I know he's going to want to refute everything I say. Arteta said he's happy with Laka. Laka said he's happy here. I think Laka wants to stay, but if we're going to go sign somebody better than him, it's his last big contract. He's 30 years old. I think he wants to stay, but he wants to see what we're going to do as far as another striker. Okay, Stan, go ahead, refute everything I said. I know you think Laka wants to leave. He's being shopped around, all that stuff.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's forget even what I think Laka wants to do. Okay, let's take that right out of the equation. I'm just going to be brutally honest, right? We've got 4 strikers on our books right now: Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Nketiah, and Balogun. Other players can play in those roles, yes, but they're the 4 strikers that we've got on the books. 3 of them have got their foot out of the door in one way or another. And personally, those 3 have got their foot out the door. Neither of them are good enough, I think, to be playing at Arsenal. I think they're all fucking shit in one way or another. If I had my way, I would pour gasoline on all 3 of them, burn it down and start again. The problem is, though, is that a lot of Arsenal fans, that worries them. It worries them. It worries them that a player will leave and they don't know what's going to come in exchange. We've had players before Lacazette. We're going to have players after Lacazette. Don't be fucking deceived by his purple patch. Just enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? For the last dance that it is. But if we start giving him anything over a 1-year extension, then we're just digging another Willian hole as far as I'm concerned.
Ooh.
Two of those strikers, between the two of them, Aubameyang and Lacazette, that's over £100 million worth of resources what we spent on them. We might not get hardly anything back on either of them. But so be it. I don't want these people hanging around and stinking up the place if they don't really want to be there. We bought Lacazette in because we got rid of Oliver Giroud because we said that Giroud didn't quite have what it took to take us to the next level. Well, I'm not saying that I'm a wizard with a crystal ball, but I will use hindsight. And hindsight tells me that we haven't improved on Oliver Giroud, and he would probably be a much better fit in our system than Lacazette. So I would just upgrade all three of those players. Neither one of them, they're all shit. Aubameyang doesn't want to be here anymore for whatever reason. He's got walks around with a face like a slapped ass. He'd rather go on social media and show us his tattoos, what Lamborghini he's going to get wrapped. Hashtag family is more important. Well, I'm glad he's away with his family. He's got what he wanted, and I've got what I've wanted. Lacazette is a part-timer. He plays when he feels like it. He plays when he doesn't. You're telling me now, after 3 seasons, that it's finally clicked for him and that he's the best thing. He's had plenty of time to show us what he can really do, and I'm not going to buy into a purple patch. Eddie Nketiah, he can't score a goal any more than, 2 feet away from the goal. I mean, the guy, when has he ever called one in from outside the box? He's just not good enough. He had the opportunities to go to Crystal Palace and maybe get a first-team football, but it was a problem. The porridge was either too hot there or the porridge was too cold. Get rid of all 3 of them, loan out Balogun, bring in 2 to 3 more strikers. But they ain't going to want to do that because that's what fears them the most. To do that means that someone's got to do work. Someone's got to do work to get these players out, and they've got to do work to find replacements. And sometimes it seems that the people behind the background, they'd rather take the convenient way out. Oh, yeah, let's bring back Dennis Ceballos on the second stint. It works out for everyone. But he was shit in the first stint. Why would you bring him back? He was shit the first time. Why bring him back again for the second time? Because it's convenient. And I'm sick of convenience. Sometimes you've got to, go the extra mile to get to where you want to be. Sticking with them, any one of them three strikers, bleh.
Can I just say I wish I lived in the UK, because Stan just did what I do when I get mad. But when I get mad, I just sound like a raving lunatic. But because he has that beautiful accent, it's just like, just listen pleasantly. But he was super angry right there. But I'm not going to argue with you, Stan. I give you last word on that.
Thank you.
Oh, but I got something to say. So I actually I disagree with Stan with a lot of what he said. So I think Lacazette overall, as a signing since he first came to the club, I think he's been a little underwhelming, but I think he's had a lot of good games for us. He's had a lot of purple patches for us. I think he's done good things. Was he a severe upgrade on Giroud like we thought he'd be? No, I don't think so. But I also think Lacazette has a lot of things that Giroud never had. I think Lacazette's leadership, his willingness to fight for this team, his willingness to fight. And, Giroud doesn't have that. He wants that perfect scorpion kick goal. Yes, he's got some good hold-up play, but Giroud's he was never willing to fight for this team. And yes, I know I bring this up way too much, and some of my friends even give me crap for it because I still bring it up. When he won the FA Cup for Chelsea against us, and he said, "Thank you, Arsenal," on the bus. That pissed me off because it just shows he wasn't really an Arsenal player. He wore the shirt. Yeah, he wore the shirt, but did he play for the badge? No, he didn't. I think Lacazette has done the opposite. I think he's done a really good job, respecting the badge and wearing the badge with pride and honor. And I think he's done a lot for this team in a leadership role. Technically, is he the best player right now that we could get? Probably not. But he offers a lot of leadership and a lot of stuff that we need to go forward as a club, and we're playing well as a team. We have Odegaard, we have Saka, we have ESR. We can't just swap out and just put a striker in there and be like, oh, we're going to be fine. We're going to get top 4. Oh yeah, we'll just swap Lacazette out and put someone in. Everything's going to be good. It's not how it works. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we have to bed people in, because I don't necessarily agree on the whole betting in process. I think for the most part, maybe a game or so. But I just think we need Lacazette's leadership. And granted, I did say the same thing about David Luiz and how, he was our best center back last season, and we shouldn't lose him because he's the best at what we got right now. He brought a lot of leadership to the club. He showed everybody like how to do things, and a lot of the players were praising him and stuff like that. We lost him, and what? We got better. We got Ben White, we got Gabrielle, and we were like, oh, Luis, see ya. So I could be wrong again. So I'm preaching my case. I could be wrong again, but I really think, with the striker position, I really don't think just swapping out Lacazette and putting something in is going to help. And Lacazette is only 30. I think we could offer him 2 years. And I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about contracts, but if we don't up his wages too much, if we just give him a little extension and be like, hey, here's the armband, here's a little bit of money. I'm not giving him an Aubameyang raise. I'm not giving him an Ozil raise, but he's a leader of this club right now, and he's the captain of this club right now, and he's showing it for someone who's largely been an underwhelming signing for us. So we're just going to kick him to the dirt and just hopefully we sign someone new. Yeah, I think we could scout someone. I think we've done a really good job of doing that, but I think that's a very dumb move, especially with the way the team is playing. Not Lacazette, the team is playing. I think it's a very dumb, boneheaded move.
Sorry. No, that's fine. It's funny when you and I disagree on things, like we're at each other disagreeing, but when we agree, it's just like it's harmonious. But it's the thing is you can't subtract without being sure you can add or at the very least replace. So from the business side of this striker conundrum that we're in, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to bin off 4 strikers on the pretense that, well, we should be able to do this. No, you have to roll the ball at the same time on both, getting someone in and getting rid of someone at the same time. We're not going to swap out 3 strikers in one transfer window. We're not going to do it in 2. We're not going to get someone in January that is going to be the savior at the striker position, in my opinion. And then look to upgrade it or solidify it in the summer. That's just not going to happen. So I think a conversation would need to be had with Lacazette. And it's like, okay, we understand that you want a little bit more security. He is currently on, if this Spot Track website is to be believed, it was the first thing that came up when I looked up his salary, but he is on 182,063 pounds per week. If you bumped him up to 190 and you gave him 2 years, what you do there is, but you sit him down and you say, with the knowledge that we're going to be looking to improve the position. So we're going to be looking in the transfer market to bring someone else in that eventually will take over your spot. You won't be the starter anymore unless you fight for it and you show that you can do the job. And there are players that have a renaissance later in their careers. And I'm not saying that,
but with us, though, the players always seem to have a renaissance, just as their contracts are about to get up for renewal, and there's discussions are going on, and they're saying no or maybe or whatever, and they seem to be playing out of their skin. And then what we're going to do now? Give them more than 180 grand a week, and then all of a sudden he's got a 2-year contract and he's shit again. Because this is a purple patch for Lacazette. Maybe a part of it is that we brought him into the club for 50 million, and 6 months, and he came there thinking that he was going to be the main man, and then 6 months later, we brought in another striker for 5 million more, made him the captain, and maybe it's a case that Lacazette kind of felt a little bit overlooked and a little bit in the shadow of Aubameyang. Maybe now that Aubameyang's been out of the team, it's given him an opportunity to maybe feel that he can maybe show what he's worth. But in any case, for me, it's too little too late. I don't see why we would put ourselves in a position like we did with Willian by giving this guy more than a 1-year contract, because what we should be doing is is lying our asses off to him and telling him he's going to get all the minutes in the world to get that 1-year contract, and then we can sell him and get some money back.
Stan, I just figured it out. I figured out why we keep going back and forth on this, because you feel about Lacazette like I feel about Xhaka, that Laka is not the long-term answer up front. Am I correct with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I'm done arguing with you about that, because that might be true.
But I don't think
Glenn, tag me in. Glenn, tag me in.
Hang on.
Tag me in. All right, sorry, Tanner, you go.
I don't think that any of us are saying that Lacazette is the long-term solution. I'm not advocating giving him a new 5-year contract. I'm advocating keeping him around for depth purposes and to not disrupt the chemistry of the team. Look, ride the purple patch, which I don't understand that saying at all. Why is it purple? Like, I'm sorry, every time I hear, you don't want to know what I think of when I hear, anyway.
Yes, I think, okay.
But you're number one, you're going to disrupt the chemistry of the team, in my opinion. A lot of the young guys look up to him, and there's something to be said for that, especially guys who this is a mishmash of players. They didn't come up through the academy together, right? They didn't grow up together. This isn't Saka and ESR, all right? That's great that we have that, but Ben White from Brighton, Gabriel from France, Brazil, whatever, Brazil, then France. Pepe from France, Ramsdale from England, and Tomiyasu from Italy, Kieran Tierney from Scotland. It's these guys. It's nice to have one that central sort of cog in the wheel, if you will, that everyone just gravitates to say, you're my guy. You're my guy. And I feel like these young players, when they're looking to a degree for that common denominator, and boy, if you didn't get a chance to read Amy Lawrence's article in The Athletic today about Granit Xhaka, I suggest you do it.
Oh, fuck no.
I'm
kidding. The Athletic is great.
We're gonna get there. Very well, I wouldn't say complimentary toward Xhaka as much as it was more of her sort of telling his side of a lot of the story over the past 2 years.
Look,
I'm going to put it to you this way, and this is my opinion, and it's not up for debate or discussion. Real quick on that note, read the article. You don't like Granit Xhaka, that's fine. Don't like him, that's fine.
Yeah,
read the article, because it's first of all, she's she's an incredible journalist.
Oh, Amy Lawrence is great. Yeah.
She is absolutely tremendous. It's The Athletic, so it's reputable. We're not talking about a fucking tabloid at the grocery store checkout line here. This is legit, and a lot of what she said is it's a bit eye opening. And I think when you take into consideration everything that he went through with abuse and everything else, it's eye opening. It really is. And back to my point with Lacazette, it's the devil you know. It's the devil you know. Now,
I don't think he's
listen. Jack the Ripper was popular down his local pub, but
All right, real quick, let me just say something about Laka before everybody starts going on again. All right, Laka's 30 years old. All analytics say at 32 is when you start going downhill. This is his last big contract. He wants to be the starting striker at Arsenal. If being part of the depth is not his deal, then goodbye. That's all I'm saying.
I can't do this. Glenn, you gonna tag me in yet, or what?
I tag you in. I can't figure out what I gotta do.
I think part of the reason, Stan, why you're so against Lacazette is because I noticed it a couple times. You keep comparing him to Willian, and I don't see that. I don't think he's Willian at all. Because I do think Willian was a big mistake, and I think it was Arteta's way of, again, like I kind of said earlier, it was his way of kind of balancing his squad, putting some seniority in the mix, getting that experience for these young guys to really push them up. Willian was a player. He was a right wing for us. We had so many other choices, and he would play instead of Pepe. He would play instead of Saka some games. He would play instead of Reece Nelson. There was so many people he was stepping over to play. Lacazette is stepping over Eddie Nketiah to play striker for us. And I don't really, and I get what you're saying. He's just playing well. And honestly, I do think he's playing well, but I think he is enabling the players around him to play better. And I think that's kind of where I think me and you are disagreeing with, Because you just think, oh, well, he's playing well, and this is just his run of form. Yeah, it's great, but Odegaard's playing better because of him. That I don't want to say it's a fact. To me, that's my fact. Lacazette is making.
Odegaard is. Hang on, you said that Odegaard is playing better because of Lacazette, not Lacazette's playing better. Okay, all right.
I think Lacazette is enabling these Martinellis, Sakas, ESRs, Odegaards to get into the game, run, be creative, do their thing, while Lacazette is doing all of the dirty work. You don't see Odegaard getting stuck in tackles. You don't see Odegaard really. He fights for balls. I'm not going to say he's not, but Lacazette's doing all this dirty work. And I feel like he's not getting a lot of credit. I feel like people are giving him credit because we're playing so well. But exactly, he's the glue. He's bringing these youngsters in the game. He's being a role model for these players. And I'm not saying I agree with shocking. I agree with everything Tanner said. I don't want to give him a 5-year extension, but he's a leader. And I think with the striker position, we need someone to, in a way, almost hand the torch off to, because we're a young team. We're growing. We're trying to find our personality. We're trying to get a culture around this club. We need somebody to hand the baton off. And Lacazette is a guy that I think should be able to hand the baton off. Aubameyang is not a guy to hand the baton off. Aubameyang's a guy that plays really well, does really good. He's unhappy. He throws his toys out. He throws his cookie and milk on the floor. He whines, complains, and he finds a way out. Lacazette's not that kind of guy. So I think we really need to handle this situation carefully. And I think we need to sit Lacazette down and not guarantee him playing time, because he doesn't. There should be no guarantees with him. Maybe give him the armband, because I think he deserves that. But don't demand. Don't be like, oh, don't guarantee him something that we can't guarantee. I think you tell him, hey, we're looking for a new number one, but we want you to kind of hand the torch over. You're going to be the captain, because if you look to our last few captains, and yes, I get it, these captains didn't really, they weren't great for us. But you look at Arteta, you look at BFG, you look at Koscielny, you look at maybe not Koscielny is probably a bad example. Even Nacho's captain for a while, Nacho Monreal. These players, their last few years playing with the club, they didn't even play. Yes, I know it was a lot of injuries and all that stuff, but just because he's a captain doesn't mean he's going to play week in, week out. I think we just need that. We need that torch. We need that personality, that culture, and Lacazette is that guy. And I guess I would definitely agree with Tanner. Then I guess it is, in a way, the devil you may know, because I don't think we're going to bring somebody in, a high profile that's just going to change this club around, because everyone is beating the drum. What is his name from fucking Fiorentina? Vlahovic. I can never say his name.
Vlahovic.
I just read an article that the teams he's interested in are Man U, Tottenham, and I want to say he was Liverpool or Man City. I don't remember which one. It was one of those two teams, not Arsenal. So, and he's someone that, like, most fans, I feel like, would think that he's going to be the guy to bring us forward. But there's a lot of fans that are even still like, yeah, I don't know. So when you have someone like that, like everyone wants him and he doesn't even want to come here. Like, I think it's going to be harder than you think to really find a striker to keep up with Odegaard, to keep up with Saka, to keep up with the ESR, to keep up with Martinelli. Because this is a train that's going. It's moving. It's moving at a pretty fast pace. And I don't know if we're going to sign someone that could jump on right now. I think Lacazette is someone who could, I guess, metaphorically slow the train down a little bit so this person that we sign could get on and be off.
Well, and see, and there comes you create so many problems with just cutting all three loose, and I mean, at the end of the day, you cut all three loose in one window. Before you bring anyone else in, and now it's a wing and a prayer that you bring someone in. And remember, transfers are two-way streets. Yeah, I want Kylian Mbappe. It doesn't mean I'm going to fucking get him, right? I mean, that's just the way it takes two to tango. And if the partner ain't willing, well, we all know what that means. The answer is no, and we all have to accept no, right? So
the last time we needed a striker and we were desperate, what did we do? We panicked at the last minute. We signed Lucas Perez. We didn't even, I don't even think he played striker. I think he played left wing for us, which, to be fair, I think he was good. But I thought he was better than what we made it out to. But that ended up
in the right places, right? We don't look in the right places. I mean, if we've got three strikers that have got, as I said, they basically got their foot out of the door, right? One of them that I would bring in to be that galvanizing sort of a person. And yeah, the guy from Fiorentina, that's great. He can come in, but someone to come in and hit the ground running, maybe for 2 seasons, I'd bring in Jimenez from Wolves. And you would probably get a better output from him than you would from Lacazette. I guarantee you, within a month, these younger players would have forgotten all about Lacazette. They'd be looking at the new. That's what happens. You think that no matter how popular you are in the office, right? I guarantee you, when you leave your job, they stop talking about you after about 3 or 4 days, mate. They don't talk about you for the next 6 months. The next thing happens, and then you're just forgotten. You're no longer there anymore. I think that someone like Jimenez, if we were to try and make the right kind of sounds for someone like that, why couldn't he be gettable? Why is it wrong for us to try and unsettle a player in another Premier League team to get him to us to help us out? Why is it, oh, we better not do that. That's impolite. Let's go around the world and get this other fucking bloke that no one's ever heard of to take a gamble on him.
Well, I'll answer the question.
About Wolves' feelings. If we want to get a player from Wolves, we should try and make our. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, in an example like that, why can't we just do that? It's almost like we don't want to upset anybody. If we see a player, we should just go and get them.
I think the thing also to remember, real quick, Ryan, give me a second here.
Go.
Can I just real quick, totally off the topic here? I don't know if you guys are paying attention in the comments, but we keep getting like these like spam comments from bots. Fellas,
I love it. We fucking made it.
Fellas, we're big time.
Woo!
We're big time. Like we're still working on the haters, but we're getting spammed. Yeah, by bots. Let's go. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh,
well, you wanted me to talk. That's what you're saying.
The thing also to remember is, and I mean this, I mean it when I say this. When we sign a new striker, I'd almost bet you that it'll be someone you've never heard of or you know very little about. Let's look at what this regime has done in the transfer window. Ben White, we know who Ben White is. Ben White's been a household name for a while. He's been talked about. He's part of the England national team. That's it. We know Aaron Ramsdale because we watch Premier League football. So we know who Aaron Ramsdale is. But we don't know who Samuel Lokonga was. We didn't know him. Very, very few knew much, if anything, about Gabriel coming from Lille. No one had heard of Gabriel Martinelli coming from Brazil. When you look at these players, even Pepe, when he was brought in, all we heard was the price tag associated with him, and we thought he was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
And we see where that's gone. When you look at the way that this regime is doing business in the transfer window, in terms of identifying players, they're identifying players that are going to grow, but that are going to grow into fitting a role that they want them to play. That's just the way that they're building this team. They're not going after the high profile, the big name, the household name. They're going after the player that they think is going to fit their system the best.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. First, though, for you, BG, and for me, actually, purple patch, a run of success or good luck. As an example, people expect me to score in every game now that I've hit a purple patch. So now you know that's their definition of hot streak.
I feel like I'm at school now. Glenn's dropping life lessons.
Right, yeah. Like, where'd this come from? First, he can't remember where he is, and now he's like handing out lessons.
He's fucking Merriam-Webster up in this bitch. Like, what's going on here?
Someone doesn't know where the fuck he is. Next minute, he's dropping science. What's going on?
Right. I don't know who any of you people are, but you just shut the fuck up. Who said that? That was funny. Hey, what they did in the summer transfer window, piggybacking on what BG just said. Yeah, I knew of Ramsdale. I didn't know he was a goalkeeping god. I knew of Ben White, but I didn't know he was this friggin' good. And those other three, I had to look them all up when we signed them. So what I'm saying is I have confidence that whatever our plan is for the strikers, that they might just do the right thing.
So before Glenn rudely interrupted me, no, I'm kidding.
What?
No, I'm kidding. So I hear your Raul Jimenez thing, Stan, and like Lone Star pointed out, he's 30. The striker that we're going to sign to whether Lacazette stays or goes, it's fine, whatever. The striker we're going to sign is going to be 24 to 25, maybe 23. He's in his mid-20s.
One of them will be, right? We're going to need about 3 strikers.
Well,
one of them will be. We're not just going to sign him.
We're gonna really put our eggs in. I think we're gonna really sign one striker. We might sign like a striker here and there, but we have Balogun. We have I remember I literally after the show last week I had to, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I had to look up his name, how to pronounce it because I can never pronounce it. The striker that we signed from Fulham, he's in the academy U23.
Is it the Turkish kid?
Beareth? I don't know if he's Turkish.
No,
I don't think he's Polish. I think he's Polish.
No.
He's signed from Fulham. You know, I read an article a couple weeks ago that we're going to loan him out. He's someone that is someone that we could consider if Balogun doesn't work out, he's a fail safe. He could maybe go. These are all very young guys that aren't going to make the team anytime soon. They're going to be loaned out for a year, maybe 2, kind of test their teeth or cut their teeth, grit their teeth out, whatever the kids these days say. In lower, in the championship or in maybe Bundesliga or Serie A. We need to loan them out. So the person that we sign is going to be 24 to 25 years old because we need that we're not going to sign another 30-year-old. We're not going to sign another crafty vet. The person that we're going to sign to be our striker is going to be someone that's going to be that we're going to expect results now. And when Balogun's ready, when Bereth's ready, they could come in kind of be like, okay, we got it from here, old man. We got this. But bringing Raul Jimenez at 30 doesn't make any sense because you could be just making the same exact problem. Because you think, Lacazette's just in a purple patch. I agree. I think Raul Jimenez is playing well. He's a good player, but I think he's a good player for Wolverhampton. I don't think he's necessarily a good player for us. I think that's a problem that sometimes I even have is I really value intangibles sometimes too much, and I value Lacazette's intangibles right now. And I think they're way better than Raul Jimenez's intangibles were ever going to be. And even if Raul Jimenez is a better player technically than Lacazette, he's not going to be the answer for us right now. We're going to need to sign a 24, 25-year-old player right now because I do think that this club has Balogun, has their eggs in Balogun's basket. And I think we still have hope for Balogun. I think we're going to kind of ride it out and just sign someone that can fix a problem right now and then bring him in later. But bringing a 30-year-old to me defeats kind of what we've been doing with our profile, and it doesn't make any sense.
I say that about the 30-year-old because I don't think we're just going to be bringing in one striker. We've got more than just a couple on the books, and Balogun, he's not going to be making any appearances in meaningful matches anytime soon. And with the other 3 potentially out of the door, we're going to have to bring in a variety. And I would agree with Ryan that you want to really focus on one in that kind of a age bracket who has a good record at scoring. But if you're bringing in more than one, someone like Jimenez to have a bit of an older head, someone that I'd not say that he's the one that maybe we should be relying on week in, week out, but that when you call on him, he can still maybe make things happen. And as you say, having that figurehead to have the players look up to someone to replace an ailing Lacazette was my thinking. But yeah, I mean, just to sign Jimenez on his own, then that would be ludicrous. But I just think that we're going to be looking for a variety of strikers fairly soon, not just one.
I'll put it this way. This is the last thing I have to say about this striker thing is I will be shocked that between now and the beginning of next season, we sign more than one striker. Maybe we'll sign 2. Maybe we'll sign 1 in January and 1 in the summer, but we're not signing more than one striker in a given window. It's not going to happen.
Well, it doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from that point
do that. And we're okay for now with Aubameyang not even in the side because now if Balogun goes on loan in January, which I think he should, I think you need to look at the position and say, yeah, we got to bring someone else in here. But the other thing to remember, go ahead, Glenn.
I just wish I could. Are these stories true that they tried to offer Nketiah another contract and he still said no? This was fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Well, I don't know if they're true. I saw them.
Things like that. If that's, I'll preface it by saying, if that's true, BG, that's something I'm not comfortable with. But I'm just going to shut up because we're doing well right now. But I'm not comfortable. I want him out the door.
I do not want to put the words in the Athletic's mouth, but I think the Athletic reported that they offer him an extension and he wants guaranteed playing. And that's something obviously we're not in Europe, so that's something we can just offer. We can't just offer, even if we were in Europa, we can't offer him that. So I don't know. You know what I can see now that the more I'm thinking about it, kind of what we did with the goalkeeping situation when we bought Matty Ryan in on loan in January, and then we signed Ramsdale in the summer. I could see us doing something like that, bringing in somebody. Maybe I'm not saying Raul Jimenez, but bringing in someone like a Raul Jimenez on loan for 6 months just to cover. Because if we are getting rid of Aubameyang, we are getting rid of Nketiah. I could see. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I could see something like that happening where we bring somebody on loan, a little quick fix. I don't want to say, well, Coutinho's not a striker, so I'm not going to say Coutinho. But we bring somebody in and then really kind of sign somebody in the summer. I don't really see us bringing in 2 or 3 strikers. It's just not, especially when we have that striker talent in the academy, out on loan as PAPP pointed out, and John Jules, which I don't think he's going to work out because he's not even playing for Blackpool right now. So I think that's someone we're going to probably just cut our losses and sell. But I just don't think we're going to sign more than 1 striker.
Yeah, like I said, it just doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. And you know, Eddie isn't a guy that has teams banging down his door to sign him. I would think that
I think they do. It's just not for the money that we want them to. Because, like, I mean, we go back to the Palace thing. Sorry to cut you off, but we had it all agreed. Us, Palace, we agreed we're going to send him to Palace for $10 million. And the reason why he didn't go was because Eddie didn't like what he was getting paid. He wanted more money, and Palace wouldn't give it to him.
And you have to and think about that. Think about as a player, he has someone in his ear telling him that he's worth more than what anyone is offering him. If there were teams out there lining up to lock him up on a pre-contract, because his contract is up at the end of this season, as of Saturday morning, teams can offer him a pre-contract, and he is free to sign that pre-contract with anyone. You would hear about it by now, right? Or if we're not hearing about it, he's just not that fucking important. And I hate that. Like, I feel like there could be a role for Eddie with this team. I really do, because he's almost that profile of striker, at least from an age standpoint, that we want. He's 21, 22. No, he's no older than 22. But it like Stan said, he's got to be practically standing inside the fucking goal to score one, for crying out loud.
And for such a tall guy, he's not that good a header either.
Yeah, it's just, but I feel like if somehow,
Eddie's not that tall. How tall is that?
He's 6 foot.
I thought he was 6 something.
He's like 5'8". He's
not 5'8". Fucking Christ.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh my God! He's not numbers.
Whoever was anyway. Bottom line. I feel like
he's 5'7.5".
Eddie is only 5'7.5".
He's 1.75 meters as of transfer market. Unless you guys don't take transfer market fees, he's 1.75 meters. And I translate that into Google, 5.74 feet.
That just seems wrong, but okay. What we
said? What makes you think he's big? He's definitely not.
He looks bigger. He's bigger than Lacazette.
It's those platform shoes he wears.
Yeah, Lacazette's tiny too.
Stan?
I said it's those platform shoes that he wears.
Yeah. Anyway, it just like there's something there with him that I feel like fits in with this side. But I can't put my finger on it. Just something I feel like there's a role.
I'm not like I'm more in on it. Sorry, go Tanner. Go.
Just real quick. The other thing with the striker thing, and then Ryan, I'm gonna give you the last word on this because I want to move on. But
I want to be real quick.
The other thing too is that you're not going to bring in, even if you bring in multiple strikers, you're not bringing in multiple starting strikers. You're looking. You look in the top shelf, then you're looking in the middle, and then you're looking in the bottom. Right? You're going to the liquor store. You're looking at the booze and you're like, all right, I need to buy 3 bottles. What do I want the most? And I'm going to look at the top shelf for that because that's where the most expensive liquor is. But then what do I want beyond that? I want the shit that I know, people will like, but it's not real expensive. I'm looking in the middle shelf. And then I got those 2 idiot friends who are just going to kill whatever they drink, that bottle of vodka. They're just going to mix it with piss. And I don't care what that is, and neither do they. So I'm looking at the bottom shelf. So you're not going to bring in 3 strikers that are starters somewhere else because you're not going to offer them enough money for them to leave their starting role with their current club. And chances are, if they're wanted, we're not the only ones that are after them. So someone else could come in and offer them starting football. We probably won't. So the Lacazette thing, to me, I'm going to put a nice little, Ryan, I give you the final. This is my last thing on this. As I think about it right here, right now, I'm going to get roasted over the coals for this. I would not give Lacazette a 3-year contract extension on the premise that he's the starter for the next 3 years, but I give him a 3-year contract extension, and I have a conversation that your role your playing time will diminish year to year, but we want you around. We're going to compensate.
Or just tell him to fight for it. Don't even tell him.
Well, I mean, and who knows? Like you said, but I would give Alex Lacazette a 3-year contract, but I would be looking to improve upon him whilst he's in the midst of that 3-year contract. Ryan, go ahead.
Just quickly, 3 points. So one, I think us getting into Europe, whether it's Europa or Champions League, is really going to be effective. And again, it goes back to my incomplete grade with Arteta. I think seeing what we could do in getting into Europe is going to hinge on Eddie, on what we do with Eddie. Because if we can get in, I think Eddie can maybe take a secondary role. I don't know if he can. I hope he can, because I think he could be a potential backup for us. 2, I don't know where all these people are finding Eddie's hype, because I see 5'9" in the chat from PAPP. Also, someone just saying 5'11". I don't know where you guys getting this thing.
Wikipedia says he's 5'11".
Okay, I have it on Transfer Market. Wikipedia could edit it. Transfer Market, you can't. So suck my dick, Glenn. Sorry. And the third point, Jonathan David, the striker for Lille, who I like. Yeah. He was caught at an airport wearing a Thierry Henry shirt. So take that for what you will. I'm done.
Oh my God, what's Jessica Simpson doing now too? Who cares?
Jonathan David's a player that would really make us better. He's a good player.
Yeah. The shirt he's wearing in an airport is not going to affect me in the slightest. I'm sorry it got you excited, Ryan. It doesn't excite me.
Yeah, but Glenn, it's not a Jessica Simpson t-shirt he's wearing. He's wearing a Thierry Henry t-shirt. Yeah, I know. It's not going to – I know it doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean really much to me either, but it's just –
what is happening right now?
Little gasoline.
All
right. So –
BG, can I just say, because I didn't like what you said about Lacazette and your offer to him. Why would he take that when he has 2 really good years left in his career? Why would he say yes to that? He wouldn't.
Say
well,
yes
if nobody wants to buy him, he kind of has to. He needs to find a suitable.
Well, but
I think they're going to shop him.
But nope. See, the other thing in this that we're all forgetting is that 2 of our strikers are out of contract at the end of the year. He can sign a pre-contract with Atletico or Inter or any other club that is looking to sign him as of Saturday. Come Saturday, he can just be like, "Yo, you didn't give me anything worth signing. I'm with those guys now. I'm here till the end of the year, but then I'm going to Italy or I'm going to Spain or I'm going back home to France." So anyway, moving on. So along the lines, we'll stick with the striker, and it is a rumor. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it is out there, and there are multiple reports saying that this is a possibility. The only thing we're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about the validity of the rumor, but given the opportunity, and I don't know what the wages are, so let's just assume that they're on roughly the same wages. Stan, would you swap Aubameyang for Philippe Coutinho?
I would swap Aubameyang, but not for Philippe Coutinho. For me, it would just be a kind of a mirror of what we did with Willian. You know, this is a guy that would command a really high salary. He's already been on a high salary. Do you know what I mean? He's going to get paid no matter what his performances are like. I don't feel the hunger there. If I was going to trade somebody at Auburn for somebody at Barcelona, I think I'd probably be looking more at Frankie de Jong. He seems to be a little bit unsettled at Barcelona. There may be a possibility there, but you know, we all know what Coutinho did at Liverpool. But again, where would we fit him in? The role that he plays, yeah, he sometimes plays a little bit wide right, but he's mostly central and in that kind of ESR Odegaard kind of a role. So I think we're pretty good in that position anyway. So we should be looking at, you know, at other roles, other players maybe in that team where we are short in those roles, whether it's up front, a deep line midfielder, or maybe somebody who can play on any of the wings. But no.
I completely agree with Stan. Coutinho doesn't fit what we need, so I wouldn't do that. No, I think we need a striker right now.
Before Ryan, oh, sorry, Glenn.
No, that was it. That was it.
Before Ryan goes, because I have a feeling you are going to have some strong words for this. No, I agree with everything that Stan and Glenn said. Well, I agree with everything that Stan said, and therefore I agree with Glenn as well. But Ryan has famously said on multiple occasions when it comes to other players that this simply doesn't fit the modus operandi of what this regime are doing in terms of building this squad. We're swapping a 32-year-old for I don't even know how old he is, but he's not
29.
young.
He's
29. So while there's maybe something to be said about having that veteran player, this isn't the veteran player that you bring in because he's not a veteran Arsenal player. And I don't know where he plays within. I don't know where he plays within this system, and I don't know who he comes in and unseats. So yeah, and for those reasons, as Mark Cuban would say on Shark Tank, I'm out.
I mean, I'll keep it short.
Oh wait, or as I said on Letterkenny, I'm out.
Dude, did you see season 10? It's so good.
I'm still catching up. We have to talk about Always Sunny, by the way.
I haven't watched Always Sunny yet. Letterkenny is a great show. If anyone in Canada watching, Letterkenny is a fantastic show. It's my favorite show. It's for tremendous.
Me and my missus watched an episode. We never went back to it.
Yeah,
please tell me it was the first one.
It's an acquired taste.
We watched the first. Yeah, we did watch it because she's Canadian, as you know. I'm here.
Hey, nice onesie. Does it come in men's? Well, I think you've come in men enough for all of us. Yeah, why don't you come in my? Wait, you come. I think he means you. Why don't you come say that to his face? Sorry.
Anyways, I'll keep it quick with Tino. Yeah, everything Tanner said is true. I don't really look into rumors until it's January, which a couple days. But I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm doing with Odegaard and ESR. And then you're gonna throw this shit on me. You're gonna throw freaking Coutinho into the mix. It doesn't. It makes absolutely zero sense. No. It literally. I don't even know why this is an article. But who knows? You know, like Stan said today. You know, you talk about the Willian signing. Stranger things have happened in the Arsenal Football Club. To be fair, though, and again, I keep saying this too. To be fair to Willian, he was probably Chelsea's best player that season or second best player that season, and they were a really good team. But I just this Coutinho thing it makes zero sense. That's why I kind of also little green room exposure to the chat. I was like, I didn't really want to talk about this tonight because I don't. It's so fucking dumb that we would even entertain this idea. But here we are talking about it because there are multiple articles about it, multiple rumors about it. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, we'll get into so we're all in agreement. This just doesn't make any sense. I like Stan said, I'm all for getting rid of Aubameyang at this point. I was all for getting rid of him.
But we got to get a striker. We have to replace him. We have to replace. If we get rid of him, we have to replace him.
Well, right. Come this summer, because we will. Balogun, unless Balogun goes on loan, we'll have Balogun, Eddie, and Lacazette, and there are options there. Could Martinelli do it? Maybe. Could Saka do it? Maybe. Like Ryan says, the pinwheel of death or the pinwheel of chaos. But I like those players where they're playing. They're comfortable in their role there. Let them stay there. Find someone that's going to come in and complement what we're already doing. Not. Go ahead, Glenn. I
just wish I knew how angry Arteta is at Aubameyang. Is he Guendouzi angry? Where we're never going to see Aubameyang again? I don't know the level of anger he has for him.
Right. So not really much else to cover here. We'll all get a final thought. Quickly, we'll look ahead to Manchester City and you know what I'll go first if you'll humor me, and I'll try to be quick. But I kind of hope that these guys have a little sense of revenge on their mind. Let's go out and we're not the same team that got battered 5-0 at the Etihad back in September. We've got something to prove. We're a better team now than we were then. We're a different team now than we were then. And let's go prove it. And let's go give these guys something that maybe we don't win. Maybe we don't draw. Maybe we lose. But let them know you're there. Let them know you're there. You know, don't go into it scared of losing 5-0 or 6-0. You go into it and play your game and let them know you're there. And that's really all I have. It's there's a little bit of quiet optimism. They are, in my opinion, one of the two best teams in the league. I'm not sure who I think the other one is between Liverpool and Chelsea, because just when I think one of those two is going to separate from the other, nope. Liverpool 1-0 loss at Leicester today. Now, not without trying. I mean, they dominated possession from what I could tell. I was watching it work, but yeah, so City are the bottom line. They're the class of the league right now, and just to me, this is a game that's not about the result. It's about the performance. I want 3 points, and I want the performance, but I want a performance. More than I want 3 points, I want a performance, because I want you to stand up to the biggest bully in the fucking yard, and I want you to smack him in the mouth. And maybe he hits you, and you go down, and you don't get back up. But get a shot in. Let him know you're there. Ryan?
Yeah, so funny. We all talked about how, we have a short turnover from Wolverhampton, to play Wolves. We just played Norwich. But meanwhile, with that game getting postponed, Man City has the short, quick turnaround. They play tomorrow. They play Brentford, and then they have 2 days, and they're going to play us on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting. Definitely plays into our favor. I think Brentford is a hard game. I don't think they're as tough as we made them out to be. Like I said, I don't think we were prepared for them, but whatever. But what I will say is I'm probably going to be the most negative out of the four of us. I will not, I'm not saying I predict this. I will not be shocked if they run us off the field. We're a very young team. We're playing well. We're battering the crap out of these teams that are going to get relegated. And we're really showing what we can do because we're playing with no fear. Because let's face it, the teams we're playing can't really hurt us. I think Pookie could have hurt us. But other than that, I really don't think that Norwich team could hurt us. I don't think the Southampton team really could hurt us. Maybe they would nick a goal here and there, as did Leeds did with Ben White's cocky stupidity. But playing with no fear. And I think Man City's going to be a different animal. And we're not used to playing against a Man City. The last time we played against someone like Man City, it was Liverpool. What'd they do? They ripped our clothes off. They ripped our dress off on prom night. They said, "Cool, take a seat." So I would not be surprised if Man City hammer us and literally shit pump us. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think we're gonna make it a game. I think we're gonna play well in pieces. My X factor, and I think the thing that I'm going to be looking for is when we play good in those pieces of the 90 minutes, are we going to play with no fear? Are we going to impose our will? Because they will give us 5 or 10 minutes in bunches. They'll give us like 5-10 minutes of the ball and of some of the game. Can we take advantage? Can we do what we can do? I don't know if we can. I think Man City is just they're 6 points clear of the league right now. They are the best team. They have the best depth. They have overall the best team on paper. I do think they're going to beat us, but again, it's just, can we play with no fear in those little bits of play when we have the ball? Because they're not going to have let's be real here. Even if they batter us 10-0, they're not going to have 100% possession. We are going to get into their final third eventually at some point. So we need to just see what happens, and hopefully we could play with no fear, and hopefully Arteta comes at the game and wanting to challenge Man City instead of just be saying, all right, I just don't want to lose. Whatever we do, I just don't want to lose, because that has bit us in the ass way too many times.
Yep.
Manchester City are not just one of the best teams in the Premier League. They're one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world. We're not in their class yet. They are the best money that an oil country with the best lawyers in the world can buy. But they're not They're human, all right? They got beat by Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, Pep is a fantastic manager, and he's not going to let them take us lightly, especially in the form that we're in now. All I can say is that I'm pretty confident Arteta is going to come up with a game plan based on his recent performances, and I am sure that our team's going to go there and try to win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan's scenario happens, but I'd be disappointed because I expect more of this team because they have improved and improved since last year. Why is everybody always quiet when I talk? Am I slurring? Is there like something?
I was yelling at the dog.
I was taking it in. I was drinking it in, Glenn. I was absorbing all the.
Stan is just confused by what you're saying.
And I also, Glenn, I forgot where you were from. And you said, "Hi, I'm Glenn. I'm from," and I blanked. And I realized it was from New York.
Stan, was I confusing in what I said?
No, I was just waiting to make like a big entrance. So I was like,
oh, okay.
Dramatic pause. But for me, I detest Man City. I fucking hate them. And the reason I do is it's a personal thing. They don't play with any strikers, and I fucking hate that. And I really hope that whatever perch they're sat on, they start to find a lot of misfortune, because it worries me that, you know, other teams will start looking at them and think, well, this is the way to go. And before you know where we are, there's going to be a queue of strikers outside the fucking unemployment office waiting to get their fucking unemployment checks. I mean, it's one trend that I hate. I mean, I like a formation personally that encompasses two strikers. I always have. So them not playing with any, and when they do play with a striker, they play him out on the wing. I hate it. I think it's pompous, absurd, and I really hope it doesn't get traction and nobody else starts thinking that this is the way to go. So, yeah, I really want us to get a result out of that game. And as Ryan said, you know, they don't have 100% possession for, 100 minutes. We will have some of the ball. It's just going to be really important how we use that ball. And I'm a little bit worried that we may get overrun in the middle of the park, in the midfield. I think we've been lucky in a few of our recent games in the middle of the park, because I still think there's not that those that are playing in the middle of the park for us, they're not quite on the same page yet. It still does seem a little makeshift. It seems like we've got a player that's out that we're waiting to come. That's what we're waiting to come back in from injury, to come back into that midfield. But he ain't coming. This is what we've got. This is it. So, hopefully Thomas Partey is going to start raising his levels a little bit higher. I think there has been improvement over some of the recent games, but I really want to see him becoming a little bit more commanding in the middle of the park, because he does seem a little bit timid at times.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with that. But Stan, aren't you looking forward to Martinelli bombing down the wing and making some moves and creating some shit? I'm really looking forward to seeing Martinelli against them.
And they do have some good players. I really like Ferran Torres, and there's rumours that he's going to be leaving them soon, which is surprising because it doesn't seem that he's been there long. But I like what I've seen of him. They have a lot of exciting players on that team. You know, you're not gonna lie. The manager seems to know what he's doing. It's just a personal thing with this no striker business. I
don't like them because I think they're cheating. They broke financial fair play, and that's why I hate them.
Yeah. Real quick question, just on the Manchester City thing. Then we're gonna get into final thoughts. Other than Tomiyasu coming back into the lineup, is there anything else? So Tomiyasu would come in, Rob Holding would go out. So you're back four. So Ramsdale starts in goal. Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney across the back. Partey, Granit Xhaka, Martin Odegaard in midfield, and then your front three of Martinelli on the left, Lacazette through the middle, and Bukayo Saka on the right. Are we changing anything from what I just said?
I hope not. I love it.
Ryan?
I actually would bring in ESR for Odegaard.
Okay, why? Besides the fact that you're like a cuckold with him.
Yeah, I am. That's the true statement you said. No, I think Odegaard is a better player when we have possession. I think he's good pressing. So it kind of disproves what I just said. But I do think Odegaard's better when we have possession. I think ESR is more of the harder worker, tracking back, and I think he's I think ESR is a better counterattacker. And when we give ESR space, I mean, you've seen him, in his goal against Tottenham. You've seen him in his goal against Villa. I don't remember. Well, no, I think it was his goal where Aubameyang did the flick to him. Maybe that was Tottenham. There was a Tottenham goal and there's another goal that was virtually identical. It was virtually identical. I just think ESR is better on the counter. We're gonna have to play on the counter, and I think ESR is just gonna be better suited for it. And I think he's just a better player to have in the trenches where we're gonna be playing most of the game against Man City.
Okay, fair. I mean, if there were anyone, if you were going to swap out anyone, I think that's the natural. I think that's the natural choice.
Oh
that's
no!
Really...
I was going to let that go. So you guys would sit a guy that.
No. I'm not. No. I'm not saying I would. I would leave. Ryan makes a very good point.
No, he does, but
damn right I do.
Is legit player of the month in the Premier League, and all of a sudden we're going to sit him in the biggest game.
Again, it's horses for courses. We're not going to. They're going to have more position than we are.
It's a good point.
Odegaard is a better player when we have the ball. Like all of it. If you did a clip show of his highlights for this month, it's all when we have the ball. We have space. We have runners. We've had the ball in their final third for a couple seconds, couple minutes. We're not going to have that. I mean, I hope we do. I hope I'm wrong with all of this, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to be in Man City's final third for minutes at a time.
I'll say this. I'd start Odegaard. I would try to go possession for possession with them if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, if they're just running us ragged, I bring ESR on at halftime. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to wait. We're going to switch up the game plan. I'm going ESR in the second half. But anyway, that's enough on that topic. Glenn, I'm going to give you the first crack at the final word.
I hope that the majority of Arsenal fans are really looking forward to this game and I'm feeling a little bit of positivity because I think the team has earned that and the manager has earned that. And I'm confident with our defense against Manchester City. I agree with Ryan. I think we're going to play on the counter, and we play well on the counter. So looking forward to this game, and I'm feeling positive we can get a result.
Ryan.
It's going to be interesting. The game's at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm going to be out the night before on New Year's Eve. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of shape I've been watching this game. But yeah, I just want to see us play well against Man City.
Dan, you got to get up at 4:30 to watch that live?
Yeah,
you're not getting up at 4:30.
And then the one thing I quickly want to touch on, because he's my on and off again boyfriend, the rumors about AMN going to Roma. I simply put, I think it's a good move for us. If we can get some kind of money generated out of this, I think it could do us well. I wish him nothing but the best. Yeah, it is Jose Mourinho, but I think he's going to do good in Italy. I think he's going to be a really good player. And I think this shows me that Arteta is not putting up with shit. I think if you have the slightest attitude issue, that's it. It's you're either going down with the ship, or we're not going down. You know what I mean? Either you're on the ship, you're strapped in, you're ready to go. If you have even like the slightest toenail in the water, peace out. See you later.
It's Courtney's for you. See, yeah. Courtney, I say, yeah.
As much as people have been debating this on social media, about the Guendouzi, the Torreira, and how like this isn't good. Guendouzi could have missed better. Torreira, he's a perfect player for what we need and all this. I don't hate it. We have enough squad depth to get into the Europa League, maybe even top 4, but we have the talent right now that's okay. You need to have players that are all in. And at first I didn't like it because we were playing so bad and there were so many holes we had to fix and it just sucked. But now we're playing better. We're battering teams. We're kind of where we need to be. We're in 4th. We're in a good situation right now. I'm okay that he's being picky here. I'm okay that he is kind of putting his foot down and saying, if you have the slightest toenail in that water, you're going overboard. That's it. You're gone. And I hope we can build off that. And I really hope these players can really come together, and hopefully we can make some signings to improve us. Because, like Glenn says, we do need a center midfield, probably even two. And obviously I still think we need a striker too, but yeah, so I wish AMN the best, because I do think this is probably something that's going to happen. I heard it didn't happen. It would have happened sooner, but he got COVID, so it didn't get finalized. But yeah,
I hope
sweet
he
dreams.
goes down on loan. I rate him. I hope he.
Well, I think he is going on loan, but I heard it's an obligation to buy if he makes a certain amount of appearances. But even if it's an option to buy, I think we're going to slowly get him out the door. Having the 2 man of the match performances that he's had, and really not, still going on the bench, and then he gets ill, and then he gets COVID. It's a shame. The whole AMN saga, I think, for me, just needs to come to an end, because I'm so on and off with him. I'm just like, just get him out of here, get him out of my sight. I don't want to talk to him anymore. He's caused me enough heartache. But yeah, all the best to AMN.
Stan, you know what to do. Final word.
Well, I ain't getting up at 4:30 in the morning on to watch that. Right?
Well, stay off social media then.
I'm going to get up and have a proper fly-out breakfast and watch the replay on the Zone. It's probably going to be a long night from the night before. So shout out to everybody that's out there in the chat box who's coming over to watch us on BG Media, and also coming through the same old Arsenal UK. Stay fresh, boss mode. Iron was in there, Rinat, Tawana, Football with Brandy as always. He's popping in. Our closet Gooner, who tries to tell us that he's the Swansea supporter, but we don't believe him. Tony Turner, Gary's in there. Don't waste the treat. Rinat, London Lone Star, who's always with us. PAPP, Carl Shadbolt. I hope I haven't missed anyone out. I just want to say to everybody, the next time that you see us, it's going to be a new year. It's going to be 2022. So whatever you are doing on New Year's Eve, probably not doing much if you're in the UK, because Boris won't let you. But whatever you are doing, yeah, have a good one. And let's fucking hope that 2022 is a fucking better than the last fucking shower of shit that we've had for the past 12 months. Thanks for joining us as always.
Yeah, try and have a happy new year. Stan, just to let you know, as bad as things are in the UK, police in New York City broke up an 8-year-old's birthday party at a restaurant yesterday. The kids were crying because everybody didn't have COVID passes. It was really heartbreaking to see these kids crying with the police breaking up an 8-year-old's birthday party. So yeah, good riddance to 2021. Hopefully 2022 will be a lot better.
I will not touch that story with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, I shouldn't have said it. Damn.
I'm not. Anyway, no, special thank you, obviously, once again, to everybody in the chat. Renat, thank you so very much for the kind donation. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. Happy New Year to everyone, including Rohan, and in the chat. Thank you, fellas, for your work. As always, you are quite welcome. It is not worth it unless you guys are all here. The live viewership number just keeps going up, by the way. Which is crazy. The later it gets, the more viewers we get. And but I digress. A healthy, happy, and prosperous new year to all. Thank you all for being a part of this. That includes everyone in the chat. As I said before, it's 4 guys, 5 guys, 6 guys with Gary sitting around having a chat, having some footy chat about Arsenal, and a little fellowship with one another, and that's that's all it is. So and we're glad that you guys are interested enough to come by and see what it is that we have to say. So much appreciated to everyone out there. Once again, a happy new year to all. Cautious optimism for Saturday morning. I don't think I'm getting up at 7:30. Not gonna hit things too hard Friday night, I don't think. But who knows? You never know with me. My moods swing violently sometimes, and I may end up at the bar and face down in a puddle of my own piss and shit somewhere. So who knows? Who knows? But it's gonna be fun either way. So that's all we got for you guys. A happy new year to everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. We greatly, 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 greatly appreciate every single one of you. Here's to 2022 being a better year than 2021 in any way you want that to be.
Am I supposed to stay on? Am I supposed to stay on after we sign off? You always have these things you have to say. You're like the school announcements in the morning.
Why can't we get this figured out? Like right in the middle of my fucking rant, and this is what we end.
Glenn, you can't say this after the show ends. Like, come on, show some professionalism for fuck's sake.
Show some respect. No, and Glenn, you do what you need to do. We know you're a busy guy, but ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year! Thank you all very much for being a part of this show. Thank you. And it's been good footy talk as always. We'll see you out there.